Greetings, everyone. This is Sistah Crystal here with Let's Talk Classic Hip Hop, back with another review on Growing Up Hip Hop, Season 4, Episode 9. TeeTee with the good hair is this episode, and let's get to it. So I'm starting with the episode with Jojo and his sisters. Okay, so they are in a restaurant. They meet up to just kind of catch up on some things. And it looks like they're really meeting up too, because Jojo is letting them know that he has to leave. He's going back home to his girlfriend and their baby or their child, and just wanted to catch up with them. And I hate to hear that he's leaving, because he's one of the hip hop children that I really like on the show. I love his personality. I love his sense of humor. He reminds me a lot of his father, Reverend Run from Run DMC, and he just seemed like a pretty good guy. And like I said before, his sisters are boring. They're very beautiful, but they're boring. I'm talking about Vanessa and Angela. And so, okay, so their conversation, so they're talking about catching up on some things, and they're going around the table, like asking each other about their relationship. And I think it was Angela that asked Jojo, or they both was asking Jojo, like, well, when is he and his girlfriend getting married? And he says, well, yeah, we're going to get married, but it's not going to be tomorrow. And then he flips it and turns it around and he says, well, okay, well, what about, well, okay. So they seem like they double teaming each other. They're tag team double teaming. Like JoJo and Angela kind of teamed up against Vanessa, and they're asking her, like, when is she going to marry her child's father? And then they both started in on JoJo. Vanessa and Angela started in on JoJo, asking him, was he gonna marry? When was he gonna get married? They didn't really say the mother of your child, but as we know, he is with his the mother of their child, but they're not married. And then the conversation turns to JoJo and Vanessa gang up on Angela and ask her about Romeo, and she just kind of like, oh, we're friends and everything or whatever. My thing is, I am tired of hearing anything about Angela and Romeo, unless I think that Angela and Romeo and honestly, not Angela, but Romeo and anyone else, I'm kind of tired of it. I mean, unless they come out and say, well, Angela might be pregnant by Romeo and there's a sex tape out there. Unless they come out with something like that, I am not interested in the least bit in Angela and Romeo, or Romeo and TeeTee, which later on he goes on a dinner date with TeeTee. And I'm just really tired of that whole storyline. It's ran its course. I understand. I came in doing these reviews pretty late. I'm in season 4, and I have not seen the previous seasons, but they're already in the 4th season, so I can imagine, this has been going on for a while. So I'm pretty tired of the Romeo and Angela storyline. And like I said, unless they come up and say, Angela is pregnant by Romeo and there's a sex tape out there, I'm not with them. I am not interested. But anyway, so we move away from that, and then the next scene. Okay, so I'm going to with Angela. She has this deal with Coogee, and you see her working out with her. I think they said it's her manager or trainer. Was it? Okay, yeah, it's her manager. I forgot the guy's name. He's a very cute manager. So watch out if he's single. I don't know if they could be a couple or whatever. He's cute, but if he's not, no disrespect to his relationship, if he's not single. But anyway, so she was wearing her Coogee brand workout wear, and it looks pretty nice. Now I know I made some little cracks. I cracked some jokes about her teaming up with Coogee because I thought it was just gonna be regular streetwear, but I like um, the exercise pants. I like the way they look on her. They're nice and colorful, so it's pretty nice. And I'm thinking like if those Coogee brand exercise clothes, if it allows you to do all the exercises that she was doing, like standing up on her head and all that, I'm like, ooh, give me 7 pairs of those. But yeah, they look really nice. So I take back some of what I said, but not all. Now, this is exercise wear. This is not wear that you're supposed to wear like every day out in the street. So I still stand by my little joke about Coogee being kind of old. It is old. Like I said, I have not seen people like walking around in the streets with Coogee in a long time, since the 1990s. But I like the style. I like the way they look on her. And if that's what they were doing, making a fitness clothing line, I'm all for it. It looks really nice. So there you go. So the next scene I'm going to, so Tiran, this is Pep's son, and I'm wondering if he's leaving too, because I haven't seen any other scenes like, they when they end one episode, you kind of see some previews of the next episode, and I didn't see him in any of the previews of the next episode. So I'm wondering if this is the last time we'll see of him, at least this season, or something like that. I hope not. I really like Tiran, and like I said, they need some new blood in there because the regular children are boring. And without Pep, I mean, I keep going back to Pep. People who have listened to my previous reviews know I always give the disclaimer: I am not here to be neutral. I am very biased, and I love Salt and Pepper, the group. And so really the main reason why I started watching Growing Up Hip Hop in the first place was because Pep was on there. So besides Pep, and she's not even one of the children were boring to me. And so you have these newer ones that they're weaving in and out, like Jojo, and I think he's leaving. Tiran might be leaving. They bringing in Kendall, that's El DeBarge's daughter. Christiania is leaving. Now they got Brianna there. So like I said in the previous review, Brianna is needed because she brings some drama, and you just got to have a little excitement with Brianna there. So she has earned her way on the show. But anyway, so I mentioned Tiran because they show him speaking with TeeTee, and he had revealed she's kind of more like a sister. I guess they kind of grew up together. I'm thinking that as Pep was raising her son, that she kind of was helping to raise her niece too, because I see a whole lot of pictures. Well, not a whole lot, but I saw they showed some pictures with them together as babies. And so I'm wondering if they look like they kind of grew up together. And he did kind of say that, he feels more closer to his cousin TeeTee than Egypt. And naturally so, because I think they're both the same age, Tiran and TeeTee, and Egypt is only 19, and I think Tiran and TeeTee, I think they're both like 27 or 28 or something like that. So they're a lot closer in age. But he's talking to TeeTee, and TeeTee is telling him that he's getting ready to go. That she's getting ready to go on a date with Romeo. And Tiran was like, oh, if you need some protection, I got some Trojans if you need protection. And she just kind of written it off. She's like, nah, I don't need that. We're just friends. We're just cool. But Tiran is looking at it from a guy's point of view. He wasn't really looking at it like, well, maybe he's thinking like, well, I know you're not going to try anything, but the guy might try something. And like he said before about his sister, he doesn't want them to get themselves in trouble, meaning he doesn't want them to, you know, accidentally come up pregnant, especially if you're not in a stable relationship. So hopefully she takes his advice or whatever if they end up doing anything. So Dame Dash. Okay. So Brianna, so you see in this scene, Brianna is there with Dame Dash and she's giving him the rundown on what happened at Boogie's pop-up shop that he had previously. And Dame asked, did he ask about him? Did Boogie ask about him? And Brianna told him no. But one thing too with this scene, I'm so glad that in this scene, Dame Dash has got some clothes on now, because he didn't have, he was kind of half dressed the last time. And, if it was the other way around, if it was a woman inviting a young man over and she's in her bra and panties with the daggone robe on, of course people would be saying like, oh, that's inappropriate. So I don't think it's any different from, her being a young lady and he's a guy and had his significant other right there. It's just kind of like, that's not really appropriate. So I'm glad this time he did have his clothes on, or he was fully dressed this time, and inviting her over to talk. But during this time, Dame Dash had shared with her that he has this movie premiere or movie screening, and Boogie had actually did some tracks for the soundtrack for a movie called Honor Up. And I remember a little sidebar. I don't know if you guys remember hearing something like last year where Stacey Dash had came out and said something about a movie that I think she may have mentioned Damon Dash, and they're cousins actually in real life. They're cousins. And Stacey Dash had made some interesting comments, and she was saying like they didn't get her permission to put the movie out or something like that. And I don't know how many of you guys remember hearing something like that. I just thought that was so weird, because if she took the time to act in this movie, the promotional posters that they showed at the screening of the movie, and I'm wrapping them two together because towards the end, they didn't show the screening for Dame Dash till the end of this episode. But Stacey Dash had said something about they didn't have permission to put the movie out or something. So I don't know if it's supposed to be some kind of legal thing coming out or whatever. It's just so weird. It's like, why would you act in the movie and then turn around and say, you don't want it out, unless she doesn't like the way the movie turned out or whatever. I don't know. But anywho, so Brianna said, well, she's going to the studio because she's doing some music too, and she'll see if she can talk to Boogie there. So we fast forward to Brianna in the studio with Boogie, and as soon as Boogie comes in, she asks I guess they're the engineers working on her song. I couldn't really hear the song that she was working on. It sounded okay from what I could hear, but she asked the engineer and all the people, can they give her a moment in there with Boogie? So Boogie comes in, they hug, and then she takes this candle and she pours wax in his hand and starts rubbing and caressing on his hands. And, they start kind of flirting with each other a little bit. And to me, I don't know, it's just a little awkward, because I do remember her saying something about Boogie was like a brother to her. So I'm like, I don't know, is she trying to get Boogie to be her brother boyfriend? Sort of like, what's her name? And no disrespect, but it did make me think of her. Bobby Christina, rest in paradise, with her and the dude that she was dating. I can't think of his name. And Whitney Houston was kind of, she took him in or whatever, and they was kind of saying that this was like her brother, and then they ended up dating and all that. That was just kind of weird. And so to see Brianna caressing Boogie's hand like the way she was, in like kind of a flirtatious manner, it was just kind of weird. Like, oh, didn't you say that this was like your brother? Or so now I could see friend, and then it goes from friends to, you're interested in a more intimate relationship. But if you're calling somebody your brother, it's like, that's kind of creepy. Even though they're not blood related, there's just some boundaries that you really shouldn't cross or whatever. But anywho, so now we go to TeeTee. Okay, so now we're at Pep's house, and TeeTee is there, and she's telling Pep about this party that she's wanting to put on for apparently it's some kind of I think some kind of Jamaican hair company or something like that. And she was wanting to have a party to showcase these I guess, I'm not sure if it's hair or some kind of hairstylist that they'll come out. They have their brand of hair, and then the hairstylist can come to your home and, do your hair and all that. And, and a lot of us in the Black or African American community, we know about when you get your hair braided. Sometimes you may go to a salon to get your hair braided, or you may go to somebody's home. They can still be licensed. They may have their salon in their basement or something like that. But this company is supposed to be, from my understanding, just a company where they have their own hair, and stylists come to your home and style your hair. Well, anyway, so she was talking to Pep and telling her that she's really excited about this upcoming party. And Pep would, and what did she say? So she was like, yeah, well, I'm going to have this party, and it's going to be at your house. And thank you for allowing me to have it at your house, or something like that. And Pep, and as she's saying it, she's high-fiving Pep like, hey, this is going to be great. And she's smiling and high-fiving. And then she's like, yeah, it's going to be at your house. And Pep start looking like, huh? What? Wait, what did you say? And TeeTee was like, yeah, remember you said I asked you if I could have this hair party or whatever at your house, and you told me yeah. And Pep was looking like, I don't remember saying yeah. And she's like, yeah, you was doing something else, and then I asked you, and Pep was just kind of like, oh, okay. She was like, don't, in so many words, like, don't ask me stuff when I'm already busy doing other things. And then she kind of had to backtrack, like, okay, well, I already invited the people and they're coming tomorrow. So Pep was like, okay, well, I don't appreciate you, in so many words, like, I don't appreciate you asking me something and I'm not really totally paying attention. Now, you know how back in the day, if you ask your parents something or your mom something and they were half asleep and they may say, yeah. So it sounds like that's the kind of move that TeeTee pulled on her aunt Pep, and Pep kind of caught it. So, you don't want to ask your parents, or mainly your mom, something, they're half asleep and they say, yeah, because you're still going to get in trouble. I know I had that happen to me. I've asked my mom, can I do something? And she was half asleep. And I asked her because she was half asleep, and I knew that she might say, yeah. And so when she wake up, I'm like, well, mama, yeah, you told me I could go. And she's like, well, I must have been half asleep. So I still got in trouble. So it's like, nah, don't try to be slick and ask your people something if they're not really paying attention, because, that's not cool. But anyway, so Pep, she, so she allows her to go ahead and have it at her house. But Pep, she pushed back her flight and everything to be there, because I guess she's thinking like, well, honey, I'm not trying to have all these strangers up in my house and I'm not here. I'm going to be here and see what's going on with this hair party. And then she invited, who was there? Well, Egypt doesn't count, and she was too young. She couldn't really drink or do anything. But Kendall was there, and they invited Brianna, and Brianna, she comes through with her suitcase and stuff, which I thought that was kind of weird. But the first thing she said, she's like, "Oh well, there's not enough chairs in here," so she's kind of busting them out. But it wasn't. I mean, it looked like it was good. It was a success, but it could have been better. But the way TeeTee went about asking her aunt if she could do it, I think it would have been better if she had really been upfront. Because Brianna was saying there wasn't enough chairs, so she went and I guess they found another chair for her. But I'm like, that's kind of messed up. She kind of busted TeeTee out, talking about wasn't enough chairs. But it seemed like that it went cool. So okay, so the show ends when they go to the screening for Dame Dash movie, and he arrives fashionably late. Everyone else was already there, and it ends when so he comes in, and as you may know, in the previous episode, Dame had blamed Pep for Boogie having a relapse as far as drinking when she offered him a drink at one of her parties. So Pep really wanted to be there so that she can kind of confront Dame and try to talk to him about that situation. So you see him, he comes in, he did give her a hug, but he hugged her real quick and just moved on really quick. And then she's like, Dame, and she was calling him, and he just kept going. So that's where the show left off. So now we know they're going to come back to that and see if they end up kind of talking about that situation and how he feels about Pep and how he's kind of pretty much blamed her for Boogie getting having a relapse as far as drinking. So, and that's how the scene ended. So, but like I said, I'm really hoping that they add some more new children in. I'm hoping they bring, looks like Jojo is leaving, but if he could come back or whatever. Jam Master Jay's son, I haven't seen him at all. I don't know if he's ever gonna come back. Little Easy E, hopefully he can come back. Who else? Just bring some more kids. I'm wondering what about Salts? I know she's got 2 children. I wonder how they would do. Spinderella, I know she's got a daughter. I think Salt has a daughter and a son. And I don't know. They just need to bring some more children on to kind of keep the show going and interesting and fun. So this has been Sistah Crystal with Let's Talk Classic Hip Hop. And like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of you out there. And until next time, take care.